The following information is intended for educational purposes only. It is not medical advice. The views expressed do not reflect those of this broadcaster. Should you choose to implement this information, please do so only with the assistance of a licensed medical professional. Neither the presenter nor this broadcaster assume any responsibility for any adverse effects or consequences that may result.
Having 30 years of experience teaching students, staff, and faculty at UCLA about health, and having written more than 30 books on the subject, Susan Smith-Jones knows a thing or two about wellness, but it's not just about exercise and food choices. In her new book, Uplifted, she explains the vital role that positivity plays in making it all work together. And she's about to give you a health awakening. And welcome to the Health Awakening. I'm Scott Laird. Can a negative attitude really sabotage your good food and exercise habits? I mean, everyone has stress. Does it really matter that much? Well, Susan Smith-Jones seems to think so. She's written more than 30 books, and today we're going to talk to her about her latest two books, Wired for High-Level Wellness, and a brand new one, Uplifted, 12 Minutes to More Joy, Faith, Peace, Kindness, and Vitality. Susan, welcome to the Health Awakening.
Hi, Scott. It's wonderful to be with you today.
We have waited a long time for this. Before the cameras came on, you and I were talking about how I knew of you and your books back when I worked with the Hallelujah Diet back 2008 to 2013. And your books were already very popular at that time.
Yes, yes. And I've been longing to be on your show. So this is a monumental day for me. Thank you.
Oh, well, we're very pleased to have you. Well, first of all, congratulations on your new book, Uplifted, which has a solid 5-star reviews. I mean, all there are 5-star reviews. That's it on Amazon, and people can find it, a link on your website at susansmithjones.com. Is that right?
That's right. Thank you.
Well, let's talk about what's in that book. Our lives and the world we live in these days, very stressful, obviously, especially the last couple of years, and seems to be getting more negative and more stressful day by day. And your latest book, Uplifted, is all about honoring our miraculous self-healing body, of course, and keeping the mind uplifted. So you mentioned 3 things that we can have control over. So what are those things, and how can we use them to our advantage?
Yes, that's absolutely right. Yes, life is very stressful now, and there's so many things we can't control. But we can control what we think. Nobody fills our brain with what we're thinking. We can control how we move, the exercise we get, and then we decide what we eat. Nobody shoves the food down our throat. So often people, Scott, will say to me, Susan, I want to be healthier, but you don't understand. My birthday's coming up. It's my anniversary. It's the church's bake sale. I'm under too much stress to make any changes. And I say, you got to let your excuses go. Don't wait till January 1st or next month or the new moon or whatever you decide. Every day you wake up and it's a fresh start. God has blessed you with the most amazing miracle on planet Earth, your body. And as you said in the intro, Scott, it's self-renewing, self-building, self-rejuvenating. It detoxifies itself. You have to give it the right tools, the right movement, the right thoughts. And often people will say, but you know what, Susan, there's nothing I can do. It's in my genes. You know, my mom has cancer. My dad died of a heart attack. My aunt has diabetes. And there was a groundbreaking study by Dean Ornish. And he showed by what you eat, your lifestyle practices, your relaxation techniques, and the movement you get, the exercise you get every day, you can affect 500 genes in your body. 48 can be completely turned off, and 453 can be turned on by what you eat and how you live. That is exciting to me. So you can't use an excuse that it runs in your family. You have control over the genetics you've been given, that they might affect you a little bit, but your lifestyle is so important for keeping you healthy. And I've got to say that, don't really talk about my age on the air, but I'm so grateful and blessed, Scott, that God's given me the wisdom and the guidance on how to care for my body, because I'm in my 70s now, and I have greater health now, more energy, more vitality than I did 30 years ago.
So how does that work? I mean, aging obviously has an effect on us. So you've experienced this firsthand, that you've actually felt like you were aging, anti-aging. So how did you do it? How did you improve year by year? Because you've been teaching health for a long time. How do you improve on that from year to year?
Well, I always like to remind people that health is a complete package. It's our physical, mental, and spiritual health. And we're in charge of all of that. And you show by your daily actions where your level of self-esteem is. And with a positive mindset, you can accomplish anything in your life. And because the body, Scott, reflects the mind, reflects the spirit, the body's a great place to start. And a good place to start then would be, are you drinking enough water? What are you eating? Are you getting enough sleep? We'll talk in a moment how to get better sleep and how to make your water taste a little bit better. And then it's the exercise, and it's an attitude of gratitude. It's going outdoors in nature every so often. It's filling your mind with positive thoughts. A couple years ago, there was a great study done at Harvard that said that people who are optimistic and positive will live 10 to 15% longer than negative and pessimistic people. And you watch people, I love to do this, walking around on the street or when I go out to eat or whatever it is. And so often, Scott, people have their shoulders way up by their ears because they're stressed out. They forget how important it is to breathe deeply and to visualize and to affirm the life you want. So I tell people, just bring your shoulders up and down and push them back and breathe deeply through your diaphragm. Just the simple act of breathing deeply will calm your body and relax your body. All these things are such an important part of health that my grandmother and mom taught me. And most everything I'm talking about today virtually costs nothing. It's just you make a commitment. And remember that the first 40 minutes of each day, Scott, sets the tone for the day. So how do you want those first 40 minutes to be? I think you want them to be healthy and happy and positive and not rushed. So maybe the night before you set the breakfast table or lay out your exercise clothes, or maybe you lay out the work clothes so that morning you can have a relaxed time. In the mornings, I pray, I meditate, I visualize the life I want. I have something to eat, usually fresh juice or a green smoothie, and I do a workout. That's how I like to start the day. Henry David Thoreau once said that an early morning walk is a blessing for the entire day.
Speaking of the rest of the day, hold that thought. We want to get into the water you were talking about in a second. We have to take a break, but we'll be right back. We're talking with Susan Smith-Jones about how to have a much better life, and it all starts with what happens up here. So we'll be right back with more from The Health Awakening. Stay with us. And welcome back to The Health Awakening. Before the break, we were talking with our guest, Susan Smith-Jones, about starting your day off right, specifically the first 40 minutes. And Susan, I totally believe that. I start with stretching, as my chiropractor friend taught me the value of. I'm making that a very consistent part of what I do in the first 40 minutes now. I have a green drink like you do, just maybe some barley grass juice or something like that.
Yes.
And then go to the gym. That's how I start my day, and I totally agree with you there. And hydration, I think, is a big deal as well, but you have a very unique take on hydration. So let's discuss that.
Yes, and I always say walk your dog every day, whether you have a dog or not. Every morning I have purified water, and I have a glass teapot, and I like glass because then you know it's clean. And then I fill it up with my good purified water. And what I put in it every morning, and my grandmother taught me this, is you can see a plate here of turmeric. I take the turmeric and I slice it. I can make long slices or short little coins. I've got ginger. I've got lemon. I've got cinnamon. I'll tell you about that in a moment. Cinnamon sticks. I've got, smells so good, rosemary. So when I make the tea in the morning, I'll put in some coins of ginger and turmeric, let it boil, simmer it for 5 minutes. I've made beautiful turmeric ginger tea. You can buy tea bags. I like it fresh. I make literally a half a gallon of this a day. Sometimes I'll put cinnamon sticks into my water. It gives it a faint flavor note of cinnamon, but cinnamon is anti-inflammatory. It helps to balance out your blood sugar level. Also, it's hard to tell, but here's pale green water. In this water, when I put it on the stove to simmer it, I put in some basil, AKA holy basil. That's an anti-inflammatory and antioxidant. It helps to protect your liver. So why not boost the flavor of the water with that? You'll see here that and there's not much of my basil left, Scott, because I made pesto last night. But you can just put a leaf or two into your chilled water, your room temperature, or the water that you're boiling for tea. And I also have one of my favorite, cilantro. It's an anti-inflammatory. If you have rheumatism, arthritis, if you have low iron, if you want to lower your blood pressure. So you just put this right in the water when you're boiling the water rather than just plain water. By the way, the rosemary that I love to put in the water too, it's great for cognitive function. If there's an old saying, rosemary is for remembrance, helps you with your memory and your cognitive function. So I use this tea, and I always put lemon in the tea. It's detoxifying. And this liquid, I've made a half a gallon of it every day, and I use it as the base in my smoothies. I use it to cook whole grains. And I just drink it throughout the day. I drink half of my body weight in ounces of water. Most Americans and people around the world, about 80% of Americans are dehydrated. Keep your body hydrated. In 3 days, your skin will start glowing if you do that. You'll have more energy. You'll boost your immune system. And in this day and age in which we live, we need to keep our immunity on a high level so that we stay healthy, and things that are in the air and going around will pass us by. I have not had a cold or a flu. I'm 1 month shy of 40 years. It's because I know how to take care of my immune system. And God's given us an immune system that is, and our whole body is miraculous. One of our gifts, like I said, back to God, is to take really good care of our bodies, not just a couple days a month, but every day wake up and recommit to a healthier body today than you had yesterday.
Indeed, that's the way to do it. And all that effort for the water and things, I love what you do there. And it's news to me that you put it into your smoothies and everything, so you use it throughout the day, which is great. But there's a way we can sabotage ourselves here, isn't there, if we don't manage our stress properly? So how can stress affect our physical and mental health?
Oh, boy, Scott, I wish we had 2 hours on this. 80 to 90% of doctor visits in America are due to stress-related issues. And if you don't manage your stress, it can create weight gain, lowered immunity, high blood pressure, aches and pains, more heart disease, a depressed mind. And there are so many ways that you can manage your stress. And what affects stress for you, Scott, might be different. Some people, it's unpaid bills or weather-related issues. You know, here in Brentwood, Santa Monica, where I live, maybe it's earthquakes or the drought. Maybe it's deadlines and commitments that are causing you stress. but you have control over it. You can quell your stress. A great place to start is to keep your body hydrated.
Okay, well,
Secondly,
hold
yes.
on there. We're
Yes.
going to keep people in suspense for a minute. We got to take a break, but we'll be
Good,
right back. So
good.
hydration's number one. We'll come back with number two in just a second. We're talking about Susan Smith-Jones and how to manage your stress so it doesn't sabotage everything else you're doing. We'll be back with more from The Health Awakening in just a second. Stay with us. Welcome back to The Health Awakening. Before the break, Susan, we were talking about the different ways that you prepare the water and how important that is to managing our stress. And that was number one, and you had a whole list of things that can help us manage stress. So what's number two?
Yes, I do. You've got to make sure you get enough sleep at night. First of all, if you want to lose weight, that's got to be non-negotiable. It's hard to be vibrantly healthy well into your golden years if you don't get good sleep at night. And Scott, contrary to popular belief, you can't put 4 extra bounce sheets in the dryer when you're drying your sheets, and that will not guarantee that you bounce out of bed quicker in the morning. It's good to have a regular sleep routine. You want your bedroom to be dark and quiet and cool. You want a live plant in the bedroom to give off oxygen. You want to warm your body up with a shower or an infrared sauna 2 hours before sleep, because cooling down will increase the melatonin in your body. The essential oil of lavender helps. And here's a little exercise. If you take your right thumb and hold your right nostril, and you breathe in through your left nostril. When you're lying in bed, you get into bed, you feel good, you want to get to sleep. By breathing 3 to 5 minutes through the left side, it helps you go from more beta, waking consciousness, to alpha to theta. It slows down the brainwave activity and relaxes you. And when you get up to use the bathroom at night, don't blast the light. Use a little faint night light if you need a light, because that shuts down melatonin. But make sleep essential for your health program. Also, make sure you get out in nature. As my grandmother always used to teach me, that when you're out in nature, especially if you walk barefoot on the natural earth, on the grass in the backyard, at the beach, in the local park, you soak up electrons from the earth, and that helps to reduce inflammation, take away aches and pains, and it reduces anxiety, and it helps your mind, your brain, to release neurotransmitters called dopamine and serotonin that make your mind much more positive. So, and I always like to say there's a disease I've coined called NDD, Nature Deficit Disorder. Get out into nature, and then exercise whenever possible. Our bodies were designed for movement, and 10 minutes of any aerobic activity will double the level in your body of the endorphins, which make your mood better. That's why I think Henry David Thoreau said that an early morning walk is a blessing for the whole day. Now, of course, watch what you eat. Like I said early on, nobody shoves the food down your throat. Decide to eat your foods as close to the way nature made them as possible. Fruit and vegetable consumption correlates highly to the reduced risk of cancer, heart disease, diabetes, poor vision, low libido, all these kind of diseases. And the best healthcare your money can buy is to eat more fresh fruits and vegetables, and especially lots of greens. When people ask what kind of diet I eat, I say I eat a vegetable-centric diet. And my grandmother, Scott, used to say to me, honey, look to nature for what to eat, because in nature you don't find ice cream trees and donut vines and potato chip bushes. So if your plate looks like a fiesta, you're probably doing a good job. She also used to remind me to make sure you're never constipated, because you recirculate a lot of those toxins if you're not in the flow, so to speak. And she used to say, darling, I want you to have one good bowel movement a day. And if you're lucky, a couple more bonus rounds. And she's so right, because the foods that are high in fiber are your plant-based foods. Animal products have no fiber. So with exercise and sleep and a positive attitude and a nutrient-rich, fiber-rich diet, you'll never have a problem. You won't be spending much time in the bathroom. You'll go in and out.
All right, well, we're going to come back with more. Hang on. We've got a couple more minutes left with Susan Smith-Jones. Some great advice. I see the crew around here in the studio trying some of the things with the nostril, like you said, and all kinds of things. I'm taking notes about what I need to do before bed. Great stuff. Hang on for more with Susan Smith-Jones. We'll be back with more from The Health Awakening. Stay with us. Welcome back to The Health Awakening. Susan, without any further ado, I know you wanted to say something very important anybody can do any day to help with the stress. What is that?
Yes, remember, Albert Einstein said your imagination is a preview of your life's coming attractions. So in your mind's eye, close your eyes and visualize a goal you want to achieve, like better health, weight loss, as though it's already achieved, and feel that joy you would feel if that were your goal.
Susan, it's been a pleasure. Will you come back and see us again sometime?
Anytime, Scott. Thank
we have
you.
just scratched the surface, and in the meantime, I want folks to get your books, to get your free newsletter. Where can they go to find you?
Go to susansmithjones.com, click on books. You can get them at Amazon. You'll find out how to get autographed copies from me with a note card and a bookmark. Follow me on Twitter at Susan Smith Jones. And I have free monthly healthy living newsletters. Only once a month, you get beautiful, cutting edge, great, humorous, very well written, I might say. I do everything myself with great photos to inspire you all month long. And right on my website, every day there's a new quote for the day and a new affirmation. So you'll find that at susansmithjones.com.
Susan, thank you for joining us today. It's been a distinct pleasure, and we'll see you next time for another Health Awakening. Thank you for joining us today on The Health Awakening. You can catch the replay of this episode and see our complete show archive at healthawakening.tv. For more information about our guests today and all they have to offer, please visit their website on the bottom of your screen. And please remember, the information you saw today is intended for educational purposes only. It is not medical advice, nor do the views expressed reflect those of this broadcaster. Should you choose to implement this information, please do so only with the assistance of a licensed medical professional. Neither the presenter nor this broadcaster assume any responsibility for any adverse effects or consequences that may result.